Is Starbucks doing well in India?
Yes and no.
Go ahead.
I mean,
There was some rumor that Starbucks is shutting down.
No,
Then they
that
came
was
and
fake.
clarified
They clarified
that it's
that.
fake. But how is it actually doing?
But I don't have any data on how they're doing. What I would say though, Nikhil, is when you say speciality, this is an interesting one. So Starbucks' perception differs heavily based on which country it's in, right? Which means what? Which means in India, Starbucks is the biggest specialty coffee brand, even though me and Matt would not refer to it as a specialty coffee brand, which is kind of fascinating. Because price point-wise, Starbucks is even at times more expensive than we are. And well, they are who they are. They have the brand that they have, and you have to respect that. But that's interesting to me.
I mean, so they've gotten to 1,000+ crores, they're at 97 cities.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Profitably?
No.
Why is that? Why is Starbucks globally as profitable as they are? Because I work in the stock markets, I've looked at it from a very stock market lens. They're almost a bank as much as they are a coffee shop. But for somebody who's so profitable outside, why are they struggling to break even and make money in India?
their cost structure is also quite different in India versus other places.
It should be better, right?
No, because it goes back to the real estate. They pick the most prime locations in every market that they're operating in. So the rentals that they're paying are incredibly high.
The one thing I've noticed is in America, a lot of people buy a coffee and walk.
Yeah.
Yes.
They don't occupy real estate.
Exactly.
In India, if you sell somebody a coffee for 200 rupees, they're going to sit there for an hour. Right?
Yeah. That whole behavior shifted to Zomato and Swiggy.
I was just going to ask what about Zepto Cafe and all. Zepto Cafe seems to be doing well from what I've heard.
Not sure.
I think it's $100 or 120 rupees for a cappuccino on Zepto. Makes a compelling case.
Does that one thing ruin the chance for me, 25 years old, wanting to open a coffee shop? If I were to open in America, 100 people will come in the morning, buy and walk. But in India, if 5 people come and I have 8 tables in my store and 5 are occupied, I can't service anymore.
Yeah, that's a limiting factor for sure.
I think that's why in this market, I feel like that all the stuff I keep saying about differentiation becomes hyper important, because you're still dealing with needing it to be experiential primarily, and then everything else serving that experience. That's the way that I see it in the domestic market, because you're absolutely right. I mean, if Matt was to open in Manhattan or in London or in Dubai or wherever, yeah, I mean, he'd be able to serve people that were like, okay, habitually I drink 3 to 4 cups a day. I get them at various times. Sometimes I pick it up, sometimes I sit there, sometimes I, pick it up and come back to my office, whatever it may be. So in addition to even like baked goods, right? Like there are people that live on eating like croissants. Like, I'm not saying they should, but they do. And so I think we're kind of at this weird inflection point where when you look at Starbucks, I think because they have the capital to expand as quickly as they have, they're doing that whilst brands like us are trying to like change the culture of coffee.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
And that's pivotal for a brand like Starbucks to actually succeed at the scale and the profitability that they're ultimately looking for. Is it can't only be limited to like, hey, we're aspirational. It has to be about changing the habituation towards coffee. And I think like Matt's played a big role in that. Before him, Cafe Coffee Day played a very big role in that, And we're trying to play a role in that.
I also think that Indian consumers' affinity towards international brands is not what it was 15, 20 years ago.
100%.
So that
True.
idea that I can just be an international brand and automatically I'll have a line is no longer applicable.
Which is great, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Homegrown is way cooler now, right?
sure.
And Starbucks is not cool. It may be cool in a smaller town for some time. And I'm sure that
In
town
Bombay,
will
it's
see,
not cool?
I don't think so.
No?
I think it's very functional. You might want to meet someone and Starbucks is going to be standard, so you might do that. I don't think it's cool.
I think in a certain subset
That's
of the
what I'm saying,
population,
yeah.
it's like, but even within
But-
Bombay,
but-
it's like maybe a younger crowd.
But when at that same place where there's a Starbucks, tomorrow when a Blue Tokai opens or a Subko opens or a Bougie opens, I think they will take a lot of their customers.
Yeah.
And you guys always open kind of next to each other, right? Like all the coffee shops.
Because again, you want to be where the people are. So there's not a, it's not, we're all kind of
We're a little
towards a
different,
similar
though.
real
Yeah.
estate.
Like I remember third wave used to always be next to Starbucks.
Because they're very similar in terms of the TG that they're attracting.
No, off topic, but one thing, I think McCafe doesn't have a cool impression, but definitely better coffee than Starbucks.
Which one?
McCafe, McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
There are people that say that.
yeah.
There are people
Pretty
that say
decent cappuccinos.
Isn't that in itself subjective? What is a good coffee? What is better? What is worse?
I mean, there is an objective scoring system.
Yeah.
Yeah. But ultimately, it depends on your individual preferences.